The one fighter that I think is really underrated and doesn't get as much credit as he deserves is actually Timothy Bradley. Now, I first saw Timothy Bradley when I was like, this was several years ago. I think it was in just to clarify, it was in 2008. So 2008 was it was literally more than 10 years ago when I first saw Timothy Bradley, and it was when he came to the UK to fight Junior Witter in the Nottingham Arena. At the time, Junior Witter was the WBC light welterweight title holder. Now, don't get it twisted, Junior Witter was definitely a top fighter at the time, and Junior Witter was trying to get a fight against Ricky Hatton, but obviously Ricky Hatton never gave it to him. But truth be told, I'll be honest with you, like, in terms of the performance was great. I mean, I think he dropped Junior Witter, I think in the 8th round, I think it was. He actually dropped him, and he really hurt him as well. And during that time period, I was just like, it was a split decision win, and I was like, you know what, this guy's got talent, and even though he's got a smaller stature than most fighters, it still was incredible that he was able to go to Junior Witter's hometown and almost knock him down and beat him in front of all of his fans. So I was very impressed with that particular performance, and I was just like, you know what, I think this guy might go all the way. If you look at his record, though, Timothy Bradley doesn't have the best he doesn't have the best KO ratio, and he's a fighter. Although he got a lot of fighters' respects with his tenacity and his aggressive bulldog nature, he wasn't a fighter that, I think he buzzed fighters, but he never really used to knock them out that viciously. He didn't have the most. So here's a fighter who's shorter than most other fighters. He's got a shorter reach than most other fighters. He doesn't have the power to contend with most other fighters. Yet he's beaten everyone in his career apart from Pacquiao, who's an all-time great, legendary, potential pound for pound greatest of all time candidate. I mean, apart from Pacquiao, he's beaten almost everyone that he's fought. Now, if you look at his actual resume, he became, obviously, like, in terms of what he accomplished, he became a 5-time world champion. So in terms of being a 5-time world champion, he won the WBC light welterweight title twice between 2008 2011, the WBO light welterweight title from 2009 to 2012, and the WBO welterweight title twice between 2012 and 2016. At his peak, I think after he beat Marquez, which a lot of people thought was his biggest victory, he was seen as the world's best, third best active pound for pound fighter, and the only person that was ahead of him was, I think it was Mayweather and Pacquiao. So he, apart from Mayweather and Pacquiao, who are obviously ATG level GOAT status fighters, he was not the number third pound for pound fighter. So in terms of his resume, obviously we mentioned Junior Witter, the aforementioned Junior Witter, but he fought Miguel Vazquez, Junior Witter, Edna Sherry, Kendall Holt, Nate Campbell, Lamont Peterson, Luis Abrego, Devin Alexander, Joel Casamayor, Manny Pacquiao, Ruslan Podnovnikov, Marquez, Pacquiao, Diego Chavez, Jesse Vargas, Brandon Rios, and Manny Pacquiao. And the 2 losses that he had was against Pacquiao. I remember the Ruslan Podnovnikov fight, which was an absolute war, and it was because of the backlash that he got from the Pacquiao fight. After he, obviously the first fight, a lot of people thought that was a robbery, and he got a lot of hate from Pacquiao fans, and he took out all his rage on Ruslan Podnovnikov, and that was a barn burner of a fight. He could have easily just outboxed him because he had the skills to do that, but instead he decided to go to war with Ruslan, and it was a hell of a fight, one of the best fights. But the downside to that is was the fact that because of that fight, it may have shortened his career, because he said he was concussed and he couldn't remember anything, and that happened in that fight. And it was after that fight that he said, you know what, I'm going to wind my career down, because I just can't keep fighting like this. It's just not going to work. So yeah, after that win against Ruslan, which was a very hard fight, he got a win against Marquez. He finally fought Pacquiao again, and finally he got a loss. He had a draw against Diego Chavez, and then the Jesse Vargas fight and the Brandon Rios fight were 2 wins, and then finally he capped out his career with a loss against Pacquiao. And yeah, since then his career's been he's obviously retired and he's been enjoying his life. So yeah, I just think Timothy Bradley is definitely one of the most underrated fighters of the modern era. He doesn't get as much respect as he deserves. Here's a fight that was shorter than everyone else, had a shorter reach than everyone else, didn't have no punching power, yet he became a 5-time world champion, and at his peak he was the world's 3rd best active pound for pound fighter in the world. The only people that were ahead of him was Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. So yeah, there you have it. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer in my books. The only fight that he lost to was obviously Pacquiao. So yeah, that's my opinions of this particular fighter. What's your opinions of him? Do you think Timothy Bradley's underrated? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's a fighter that doesn't get as much credit that he deserves, or do you think he gets more than enough credit? Who would you have liked to have seen him fight? One fight that I would have loved to have seen was Timothy Bradley versus Mayweather. I think if you went over to the PBC, it's a fight that could have potentially happened, but I just don't see Mayweather fighting him. But I would have loved to have seen him against Mayweather, because regardless of what you say about it being a robbery, he does officially have a win over Pacquiao, and Mayweather has a win over Pacquiao, and Mayweather has a win over Marquez, and Timothy Bradley has a win over Marquez. So if them two would have fought, God only knows what would have happened. But I think Mayweather would have won, but I think Timothy Bradley would have put it on him, and it would have been an interesting fight, to say the least, for as long as it lasted. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Timothy Bradley. Tell me your thoughts, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.